Hello, everybody. Welcome to a nearly live episode of the cEDH cast. My name is Ian. With me, as always, is my co host, Braden.
Hey all.
So, today's episode is going to be something a little special. So, it is currently Monday, March 23rd, 2020. We are going to be recording this episode and probably releasing it within an hour. So, forgive the minimal editing, but we wanted to get this episode out to you as soon as we got this information. We've been planning on it for a couple days now. So, here's the scoop. What's going to happen is we are going to be live reacting to some information that Gavin released on Twitter. So we wanted to keep this as timely as possible. Between last Thursday and today, Monday, he has released a number of spoilers about the Commander product for Ikoria. So, Braden, you threw a list together of everything that we have. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. So, one thing I wanted to say first is that I've looked through the spoilers already. It's not exactly a live review, and we're going to skip some of the things that we don't think are as necessary to cEDH. We're still going to cover almost all of it, but I just wanted to give a bit of a warning there. So, the first things we're going to cover are the things that came out on Friday that are applicable to cEDH. So, I'll start reading those off. There will be a mono white card that lets you repeatedly ramp planes from your library onto the battlefield. So repeated ramp is pretty powerful. It's like one of my favorite reasons I play Thrasios. So being able to do that in mono white is pretty helpful to decks like Bant or Boros or mono white, which are all pretty weak, I'd say, right now. So getting if the card is really good, it'll be a great bump to those decks.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited for something like any of like the green-white decks that have been really fringe, or like mono-white in particular, being able to really push ramp advantage in those decks is going to be awesome. I'm a little nervous because the way it says repeatedly ramp planes, I'm a little nervous the card's going to be expensive and more of a casual commander card. Just sort of the phrasing of his announcement.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the idea of playing maybe like a Thrasios Sidar list where you're playing like a Bant Edric deck with like lots of ways to draw cards, and the repeated ramp lets you feed into your Thrasios in the late game. So that would be pretty cool. And I could see in Bant having a way
lose a lot of the...
I imagine the ramp is going to be tied to playing creatures, and Bant has a way to play lots of creatures, and that is synergy with Sidar. So I could see that being like a deck if the ramp is good enough.
Yeah. What I was saying was you kind of lose some of the draw power, though, because you're really relying on the Thrasios there, because there's no Tymna, unfortunately, or no Edric in this circumstance.
Sure. So the next point is Magic's fourth Trilobite, and the reason this is relevant is the Trilobite creature type is actually a pretty interesting creature type in that it has a few creatures that have strange abilities, specifically, as I look it up right now. So specifically, there are two Trilobites in Magic right now that have interesting abilities. The one I found first looking up that I think is most interesting is Scuttling Sliver, which is a 3-mana 2/2 that says all Sliver creatures you control have pay 2, untap this creature. And there is another card I thought was a Trilobite that I guess is not a Trilobite. So this is not as relevant as I thought it was, but... So yeah, Scuttling Sliver is actually an interesting Magic card. If we had another Sliver that cares about untapping, that may actually be something... Sorry. If we have another Trilobite that cares about untapping, when you start untapping things, that's when combos start happening, so that's why I pointed this out. So.
Cool. One thing that I want to say here is it's not a big talking point, but Gavin did mention that there are 41 instances the word counter or counters. So if you have a commander that maybe relies on counter synergies and that's something that excites you, this might be a set that boosters that deck or bolsters that deck.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
We'll see how that goes. But that really hasn't been a cEDH strategy yet. So maybe we'll see.
So the last point we have is there's a permanent which has the ability that begins with you may pay 0 rather than. So I'm going to take a bit of a leap here and say you may pay 0 rather than paying mana costs, some type of mana cost on a on some type of permanent, or maybe it could be pay 0 for an activated ability or something like that.
So what I think it is, you mentioned the activated ability thing. There have been sort of whisperings of a mechanic from the set that involves like merging creatures together. So I think that's where it's going to be. That would be my guess into the void where we are.
Yeah. All right. And so that is everything for Friday, which is, in my opinion, the less exciting day. So now we're going to start on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So on Monday, there were another set of announcements. It's today. And I'm going to start reading those off too. A cycle of cards that is a reimagining of an old popular multiplayer cycle. So,
Which is,
go
yeah,
ahead.
that's so cool. No, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say there's a lot of like really awesome cycles right now that like, we just finished the talisman cycle, things like that. So it's very exciting to get multiplayer design cards because the habit lately for WotC has been to really push those cards and lean them towards our format, which is kind of nice. So hopefully the competitive edge gets a good cycle there.
One thing I'd like to see is a Rhystic cycle that is like of allied or enemy color combinations. I think that'd be really cool.
Hmm,
That's like appropriately costed, similar to like Smothering Tithe or Rhystic Study or Mystic
that'd be very
Remora,
cool.
something like that. Um, Another thing I was thinking of was a cycle of there's like Myojin. I don't know how to pronounce it, but there's a cycle of like creatures from Kamigawa that where if you cast them, they enter with counters, and then when you can remove a counter, you get some insane effect. So,
Right. I don't know if they're that would be considered a multiplayer cycle though. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I just it probably doesn't target is like the thing. So I'm imagining
Sure.
big Timmy stuff cycles. So
When I read the words multiplayer cycle, my brain goes to something like the 2018 Commander Storm cycle. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Those
yeah.
cards that would copy themselves whenever you played your commander. So that's where my mind
Yeah,
goes to. I
same.
hope it's not
But those
something
aren't
like the
old.
vows.
They're
That would
not.
be bad.
They're not old though. You know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like the vows, that might be it. But those are like I wouldn't call those a popular multiplayer cycle. You
Maybe
know?
Charms. No, those aren't popular multiplayer
Maybe.
either.
I'm just trying to
Yeah, I
think
don't
of
know.
like the original commander decks, I'm trying to think of the cycles that were in those.
I think this is gonna be stuff from like Odyssey, like that kind of old.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that you think that old. I thought he meant like old commander old.
Oh, what about a? Well, they just did this, but what about a reimagining of? So they just did a reimagining of the Elder Dragons, right? In the Nicol Bolas set. So
Oh.
what if they did a reimagining of the legendaries from Legends? Maybe like their
Which
ancestors.
cycle though?
Oh, there's a multiplayer cycle that are like all really bad, and a lot of them are on the reserved list.
Oh, sure, like the planar chaos dragons, right? Those that
No, no,
that
no.
one or
Like the
no?
original set Legends had a cycle of really bad legends that were based off of the designer's D&D characters. So like Rasputin.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I see where you're going with that.
So yeah, that would be really cool because Rasputin's sick. So like a cycle of things like based off of them would be awesome. Some of them are really
Sure.
bad though. Like some of them are just like vanilla creatures with
Yeah,
like
I'm looking up old mechanics as we speak right now. I'm literally going through Commander 2011 to like see if there's any good
I
cycles
don't
right
think
now, and
that's
there's
old
join
enough.
forces, which is
I just don't think
garbage.
that's old
But
enough.
yeah, no, I see what
He
you're
like
saying
said
though. Like old
old.
old cards that are played in
I'm imagining
Commander.
like
Sure.
Chainer, like Chainer, the original Black Chainer,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like that old. So
Okay, interesting.
all right, so our
Wow,
next
that one's gonna make me dive in deep later on a Scryfall search.
yeah. So the next point we have is a creature that generates mana that you can only use for activated abilities. If this is a mana dork, I'm sold. Like, can I get a Soul Ring on a stick that just activates for Thrasios? Like,
Right.
let's go.
So that was
This is
exactly
probably
my
a
thinking.
bad
Like,
card I'm gonna play a lot of.
right. It kind of reminds me of Biomancer's Familiar a little bit. This concept because I think the reason that Gavin pointed it out, like this would if it was just a dorky 2 mana thing that made a mana for activated abilities, I think it would be bad, and I think he wouldn't even mention it. But
I don't know.
because
I
he's
think he would
mentioning it
mention it,
here,
but I think
but
he
I don't.
would.
It's supposed to be like a talking point. Like that seems like garbage. But if it's a creature that's like add 2 mana of any color to activate abilities, like that's something good. And I
I
think
imagine
that
this
could
is a
be
creature that's gonna like create some type of combo in like a niche deck, like a Nin the Pain Artist like combo or something,
sure,
or
sure.
something that goes infinite with that Sliver I just mentioned, like
Yeah, it
with
would
the
be really cool
Trilobite.
if it was like a combo card. That would be awesome.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
think anytime you have a door like a creature that makes a lot of mana, um, it has high combo potential. Like this creature is
sure.
going to
Right,
be able
like
to
with the
activate
old Sliver
Umbral
Queen.
Mantle,
Yeah,
right? Like you can activate Umbral
yeah.
Mantle with this creature most likely, and now you have an infinitely big creature
Right.
pretty easily
Sure,
and
sure.
infinite
Like any,
mana.
yeah. Oh, that's totally true. I hadn't even thought about like the Umbral Mantle esque cards. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So these cards are sick. I'm excited.
Very cool. Very cool.
This is like my stuff.
What, Mr. Medium Green? You like tapping creatures to do stuff? That's pretty weird.
Yeah. Combat? What?
You mean you? Oh, hey Braden. You know what shuts down this card specifically? I believe it's Curse Totem.
Oh, I don't. Wait. It says generates mana. It doesn't mean it taps for mana. Could be like a. It
Yeah.
could
Okay,
be a
but how do you
carpet of
generate
flowers on a
mana?
stick that only
Yeah. It could
works
be a
for
trigger. It
enchant.
could be a trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ew. A carpet of flowers on a stick. Please don't. Hey Watsy, please don't.
All right.
Green
So the
doesn't
next
need
point.
that.
You're right. Um. So the next is 8 non-evergreen old mechanics returning. They didn't hold themselves to mechanics in Ikoria. So we have 8 mechanics that Ian and I listed off that we are guessing are
So
returning.
for those of you that know like nothing about Ikoria, it's literally like the subtitle of the set is called Land of Behemoths, right? So a part of
Yes.
this, so to give a little context to like how Braden and I got to the mechanics we think will be coming back, Gavin also released information on like cards that are in the set and their creature types. Like there are cards like cat nightmares, goat hydras, badger dinosaurs. Like
Whale
this
wolves.
set, whale wolf, right? Dinosaur cat tokens. So like there are this set is literally like this is a big dumb thing. Like if you like big dumb things in Magic, this is probably going to be like the best set ever. This is the Timmiest of all Timmy sets, right? So there's going to be a lot of just like big like there's going to be badger dinosaurs running around, right? So this is definitely when we were finding out which mechanics Braden and I both thought would be returning, this is kind of where we were going. This is our headspace. So the
I'm
confirmed
gonna
dinosaurs, things like
I'm
that. Like
I'm gonna read out the mechanics, and then we can kind of talk
yeah,
about some of them too. But when we read them
sure,
out, you'll kind of
happily.
get a vibe for what we're going for. Enrage, scavenge, frenzy, ferocious, formidable, rampage, devour, and evolve.
Just like those names alone, you can tell like, oh, this is big smacky boys. Like
Yeah. So those are the mechanics we thought would come back. We can talk
yeah,
about a few of them and talk about like why we think they're coming back. So,
right.
enrage is the dinosaur mechanic. It is a
Hmm.
mechanic that
From
causes
Ixalan
an
block.
from Ixalanbach. Yeah, it's a mechanic that triggers whenever the creature that has enrage is dealt damage, and it just sounds like a big boy mechanic. So I imagine there's gonna be some dumb dinosaur elf that that
Yeah.
has enraged for some reason.
Right, exactly. This goat dinosaur with enrage, right? Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So, they have confirmed dinosaur as one of the creature types, so it does make sense for that
yeah. There's
mechanic to come
dinosaur
back.
cats.
Right.
The next is evolve. Evolve is like probably what the blue mechanic would be. I imagine it's from the Simic Guild on Ravnica is where evolve originally came from,
It's a
and
pretty recent one because it just came out in Allegiance, I believe.
no, that was
Oh, no, 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 no. I'm thinking of the other one. Sorry.
yeah.
Evolve is from 2 Ravnicas ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So evolve says whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it's bigger than the creature with evolve in toughness or power, that smaller creature gets bigger. So
Which makes so much sense for what's already been spoiled for the set. Like, first of all, it's like a size mechanic. It's about giant creatures getting big, and also, as we mentioned earlier, the 41 instances of the word counter, like
Yeah.
it feels like it makes sense, right?
hmm The next is Formidable, which is a mechanic that cares about you having a certain amount of power or toughness on the board. I believe it's 8 toughness. It is
But
if
yeah.
creatures you control have a total power of 8 or greater.
Yeah.
It is a 9 on the storm scale, apparently, but I could see this being like a 1 of in a commander precon.
Oh, I didn't know it was on. Why is that on the storm scale? It seems super. Okay.
Yeah, but the
For those of
commander
you that don't know,
precons don't care
the
about the
storm.
storm scale, so it's fine.
Oh, that's fair. So for those at home, the storm scale is a list online that WotC prints of basically mechanics that are extremely unlikely to be reprinted again. The higher up, obviously, the less likely. Things like Infect are like in Storm are really high on the Storm scale.
Yeah, while
But
like flying is a 1 on the storm scale, it's something you can expect to see in
right,
every set.
exactly.
So,
Evergreen mechanics.
yeah.
Cool.
So the mechanic I think is going to come back, which ties into our discussion earlier about creatures from Legends getting like reprints or reimagining, is Rampage. So Rampage is
What
a
an
mechanic.
oldie.
Rampage is a mechanic that I don't even know what it does exactly. Let me look this one up too. But it is
I have
on
it right here.
it's on several of the
Uh,
creatures that were in the original set Legends. It's only been on 13
so
cards ever, and the last time we saw it was Time Spiral.
right. So Rampage is a mechanic that gives an attacking creature bonus power to its power and toughness when it is blocked by more than one creature. So if if 2 creatures block your creature and it has Rampage 4, it gets +4/+4. But it has to be blocked by more than one creature, which is just like so specific. That's so specific.
Yeah, oddly, there's a green white and a white blue creature with Rampage. I don't
Yep.
know what they were thinking.
Yo, Legends was messed up. Let's not even. Let's not even.
So it's pretty sick though, and I hope we see it again, even if it's a mechanic that isn't very good.
Yeah.
So the final thing we're going to talk about is a single legendary card that brings back and uses experience counters, and it's not one of the 8 mechanics that we just talked about.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't remember, Commander, I believe 2016 was the, or no, that was the 4 color. So 2015,
hmm
Commander 2015 was the year that they did experience counters. They had what's known as enemy colors, the enemy color sets. So that was where we got Mizzix of the Is Magnus, Marin, the really bad Boros one. um, there was
Azuri, Claw
the
of Progress,
Azuri Claw of
which
Progress.
is like
Yep.
almost a cEDH deck. It's like not
Yeah,
for sure, but
it's used in an Edric Hulk line,
oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
and the Orzhov Daxos. That was the other one.
hmm
So basically, what experience counters are is it's a counter that is separate from your commander. So basically, like for example, Azuri. Whenever Azuri is out and a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield, he gets another experience counter.
We
And
get
then
an experience counter.
on
The owner of the creature.
yes, right.
Gets
You, the
experience
player,
counter.
get an experience counter. Correct. And whenever they go to combat, a creature you control gets +1 equal to your experience counters. That's Azuri specifically. For example, Mizzix says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery with CMC higher than your experience counters, you get another experience counter. So the really cool thing about these is you can actually like you could kill the commander. So you could kill Azuri with experience counters on 5, but because you, the player, are getting the experience counters, the next time you cast Azuri, the experience counters are still represented with that 5, because you, the player, are getting them, which is pretty cool.
It also works
So
with
it can be a very powerful
proliferate.
mechanic.
If you
Yes, true.
proliferate, you can actually put an additional counter on yourself because proliferate was meant to work with infect, which is also another example where you get counters. So if you have some engine that's allowing you to proliferate multiple times a turn, you can start getting crazy high experience counters. And
Yep.
there have been powerful decks that have used experience counters in the past. I don't think they've been cEDH for some time, but they're out there. They have existed.
Right.
If Mizzix was a 2/3 instead of a 2/2, it'd probably be pretty close to a cEDH deck.
Yeah, yeah. Mizzix is like a prime example of a deck that has just been like not there. I mean, Marin has been considered like a tier 3 deck for a very long time. So like it's a meta buster style
For
deck
sure.
too. You know what I mean? There are certain metas where that deck can really actually play at the table.
Sure. All
So
right.
yeah,
That's everything that I think we're supposed to talk about.
yeah. So as I said, this episode's going to be a little less edited than your normal episode, but because it's currently 7:23 and I want to get this out by like 8 or 9 o'clock, we'll see how quick I can get it out. So thank you for listening, everybody. We really wanted to have a quick turnaround on this one, and I really hope you enjoy it. This is Braden and I genuinely excited about some new stuff from a new set, and we're trying out a different form of content than we usually do. So, from all
You'll
of
still
you
get
out
your high
there,
quality. You're still going to get a high quality episode later this week, and on Thursday we're recording with a very special guest that we're both really excited about. So
yeah, man, I wanna say it on here, but I don't want to spoil it just yet. I already had friends pinging me for to find out more information. But let's just say this is someone who, once again, is from a different form in the Magic world, but someone who I admire very greatly, and I'm very excited to have them on the show.
Ian is fangirling so hard it's embarrassing.
You know what? I cut you saying that out of the last episode, so I have to leave it into this one. All right.
Can't
Oh
cut
man,
my
I'm
goblin
not
voice.
editing hard. I have to leave your goblin laugh in now.
Um,
All right, everybody.
okay, we need to.
Oh no, we're losing it.
Okay, so we have. Oh no, this is all going to be in here. Okay, so we got to go over our social media again as we normally do. We're trying to make people check out our YouTube channel. We need to hit some new statistics to get monetized on there, so we're just pushing for it. We're going to try to get there as soon as possible.
Yeah,
We
please,
are
please, please,
also
if you guys are using any podcast apps right now, if you could just head over to YouTube and hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, it does wonders for us. And pushing towards YouTube monetization is like really, really awesome, and it will allow us to do a lot of really, really fun stuff. As I mentioned, we're all kind of in this weird time right now, so Brayton and I are trying a lot of new fun things for the cast, including this episode. So the more you
Yeah.
can help out on these different platforms, the better. So please, if you could head over there, hit subscribe, and then follow us on your normal places, that would be superb, guys.
actually
And
so
girls.
we're doing fine on we need a certain amount of hours, then we need a certain amount of subscribers. We're doing fine on hours, like we're going to get there really soon, but we're actually down on
Yeah.
subscribers, so just hopping over there and subscribing actually does really help us out a lot. So
Yeah, and
please
that way
do.
you know when the new episodes are out, too. So...
Yeah, also
I have podcasts that I never watch on YouTube, but I subscribe to them just to know when they release their new episodes.
yeah, I do the same thing. We're also on Redbubble now, so you can buy t-shirts and stuff. I'll definitely make sure the links are in the description for all that, or wherever you listen to it. It'll be on SoundCloud, but Spotify and other things it doesn't quite work. But check out our t-shirts. There's also like coffee cups and mugs and pillows and
Yeah,
shower
there's an
curtains.
option if you... It looks like there's only shirts on there right now, but if you check, you can actually go down your screen and it says see in of different available options, and you can get whatever you want.
Yeah. So that is. Oh, we're also on Twitter and Instagram as usual. Although our Instagram is pretty dead right now because we're not playing Magic.
Using it.
There's a cockatrice tournament coming up soon that I think Ian's playing in. So
Oh yeah,
if you're
I am.
if you're interested in that and you want to talk shop, Ian's always on the Discord. You can ask him questions about what he's playing or what you think you should play, or just harass Ian a lot. Just
Yeah,
bully
I
him.
have a good amount of time lately, and those of you that have been in our Discord lately have been playing a bunch of games with me. So one, thank you for all those people who've been playing, and two, come jump in, say hi. I can send you links to the tournament too. It's called the Marchesa 2020 tournament, and I'm very excited because it's going to be really fun. Yeah.
All right.
That's
I think we have to stop
this
talking,
Saturday.
or this podcast is going to take Ian too long to edit. But thank you for listening,
Yes.
everyone.
All right.
It's been a weird and fun time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.